Nation, whenever we talk about metalcore, whenever we talk about bands such as I Lay Dying, my opinion is kind of strange, and my journey is even weirder. It's one that takes a roller coaster ride from the time of the inception of the subgenre of metal known as metalcore to the present. In most cases, the scenario goes in the manner of kind of maybe going back up. So yeah, kind of like the first real big hill of a roller coaster, where whenever it first came out, it was pretty hot property, and the whole entire idea wasn't oversaturated as of yet. And then as the years ticked by and everything progressed upon, it just kind of went downhill. Principally because the genre itself went downhill. However, a band such as I Lay Dying remained somewhat consistent throughout this entire interesting little subsection of subculture of metal kind of took place. And their new album, Awaken, here in 2012, is kind of proof that this is a band that, while they have had to sort of adapt in order to maintain their relevancy, it also showcases that they're able to still do what they initially did whenever they first broke onto the scene, the first part of the 2000s. They're still able to do it extremely well, and they don't really have to do too much differently overall in order to really showcase that which they are extremely good at. I know that it really seems very complex, almost like a completely unnecessary and redundant math equation, but I'll explain that here in just a moment. This album is able to really showcase As I Lay Dying's career in kind of a nutshell, in the fact that they are able to blend very powerful metalcore riffs alongside both growling and clean vocals. The mixture, something that is used kind of a little bit more gingerly here on this album than perhaps in previous affairs. I can remember first listening to Frail Words Collapse, and it almost seemed as though the usage of the clean vocals when interwoven with the deathy vocals were kind of just done so in a bit of a frenzy, kind of done just willy-nilly whenever they kind of wanted to have a break in the song. And it was kind of what made the atmosphere so truthfully unique. In fact, there was one song where the clean vocals actually sounded like the very high moans that I myself, whenever I was a vocalist 10 years ago, still very young, a young 18-year-old vocalist, was kind of emitting, because I was still getting my highs and my clean vocals polished. Of course, those of you who have attended my blog TVs know that the polish is, well, still necessary, but overall, it was kind of a weird scenario. My best friend actually thought that I had somehow accosted the recording and placed myself on it. However, with this album, the one thing that does seem magnified is the anger. As I Lay Dying was never a band that really seemed as though they were truly calm and a-okay with everything that was going on with the world around them. But this album definitely seems as though they are exceptionally angry, that they showcase a lot more rage. There's a lot more of a sound to it, and it's not just because of the sound wars that have consistently been going on ever since I started reviewing, where everything just sounds louder because it truly is louder. No, this is actually more of the tone of voice. This is more the way in which is being inflected upon a listener. And this actually is a welcome change, mainly because if you remember my Black Dahlia murder review for Ritual, one of the biggest things, one of the biggest believability things that this band was able to showcase on that album was just the ability to become extremely raw, extremely dark, and really showcase an evil side to them. A side that maybe had been showcased in droves prior to that album, however, not on a complete affair such as on Ritual. Now, with this album by As I Lay Dying, it is that rage, it is that outward just thrust of just absolute insanity that really they have shown in droves throughout the entire duration of their career, but on this album it really eclipses at a complete and total 100% whole. And whenever that happens, and considering the riff writing is pretty solid, you almost forget about the fact that whenever you hear the clean vocals, it sometimes resembles one of those atypical bands that you hear on you know, all the typical fests anymore, you know, all those atypical bands that I traditionally tend to either bash on, bands such as The Word Alive or whatever. But really, whenever As I Lay Dying does this, it's a little bit more believable because of the way in which they're able to reflect it and inflect it with their tone of voice mixed with their music. There's a certain believability to this that really is not present on a lot of other bands' music today, especially bands that have just formed over the past couple of years, mainly because the pendulum actually swings to the other way, where the clean vocals really take the precedence, and the deathy vocals, the harsh vocals, almost feel as though they are forced, you know, almost as though they hired someone specifically to do those vocals, and it was not necessarily for the reason they wanted those vocals, but it was because it was a trend. As I Lay Dying knows that this is not something that's just a trend. This is something that's always been an incorporation of their music. Overall, this is an album that flows very, very nicely, and I really enjoyed the experience. I think that As I Lay Dying will always go down as one of the bands in the metalcore scene that will maybe fade away a little bit here and there every so often, but never completely and totally burn out. They always have a little bit of relevance. I'm already being sued because I said the word alive. At any rate, ladies and gentlemen, I think that this is an album that should be explored by curious metalcore fans that wonder if the genre is still dead, because it certainly is not. I would certainly, though, say that this album, while it is extremely well done, is certainly not going to be something that's going to blow away and maybe convert somebody who didn't like metalcore all that much to begin with. So I'm going to have to give this one a solid 8. I really enjoyed the experience, but it's not going to really win them over too many other fans, such as Ritual by the Black Dahlia Murder maybe did for them. However, this is a damn good effort, and definitely an album that's that should be explored. So whenever that comes out, definitely check it out. Now, hopefully, I can talk my way out of this. Damn, that's really urgent. Fuck. What the fuck did I do?